Alright, so these are my installation instructions for Windows, for the newest version of Oobabooga, the basic installation, 8-bit, 4-bit, how to convert your original LLaMA files so they work with this new version. This doesn't involve any Ubuntu sideloading or anything, this is just all done on Windows. These instructions presume you have Miniconda installed. It's just a normal executable. You can find, I'll put a link in this document, but you can also find it in the GitHub repository for Oobabooga. There's a link to it there as well. So once you install it, you just go to Miniconda and then Anaconda PowerShell. I've made a shortcut for it down here, so you'll see me clicking this. I suggest you make it readily available as well because you'll probably be using it a lot too. The next thing we need to do before we install anything is make sure you have the CUDA Toolkit 11.7 installed. So how do you do that? How do you know your version is the right one, and how do you change it if it's not? You go to this link here. These instructions are all reversible. You will not do anything permanent to your system. You can have multiple toolkits installed. You just got to change the environment variables, and it's very simple to do. So this gentleman has made these instructions. He has a YouTube channel as well. He's a pretty great YouTube channel, actually. You just run this to check your CUDA version. If you don't have the right one installed, you just click on this and it'll bring it to a bunch of executables. I'll just show you. And you just download 11.7 here. Just download that and install it. It's just a normal executable. Once you install it, you want to go to edit the system environment variables. Do not click on the one that says account. It'll bring up a similar menu, but you won't be able to edit what you need to edit. So you need to open up this and edit this, not this. Upon doing that, you'll be presented with this window. You just click on this, and then you want to go to the system variables area here, and you want to go to CUDA path, and you want to make sure yours says 11.7. He's going from 11.6 to 11.3, but you're going to want to go from whatever version you have to 11.7. So just put 11.7 there. So he's going from 11.6 to 11.3. Then you want to go to path, and you'll see 11.7 bin in here and 11.7 lib nvvp. And you just want to scooch them up to the top. So they look like this, but, so 11.7 there instead. Again, he's going backwards. And then you can run this to check to make sure you have the right version installed. This step is very important. Cannot skip that step. Okay, once you do that, now we can start downloading and installing stuff. So I'll walk you through kind of what these instructions mean as we go through this here. So I'm just copying that and I'm pasting it into here. Control-C, Control-V, pushing Enter, and pushing Yes here. What it's doing is it's installing an environment within the Miniconda installation. See, it just installed this environment called TextGen. That's the environment name we gave it, TextGen. And so Miniconda installed on my computer here. There's an environment folder, and this is the TextGen environment. This is like a miniature version of Miniconda, where all of the packages and software can be installed for your specific application and have it not conflict with Miniconda. So, we're still not completely done. We've got to change this from base, because base means whenever we write code or libraries, they're going to be written to here, which we don't want to do. We want them to be written here. We want to activate the environment we just made. So conda activate to TextGen. And so now we've gone from base to TextGen. And you always want to make sure your environment is activated. Very important. So now that we've got that done, anytime we do any installation, they're all going to be done in here for the Python side of things. Now the repository and the code side of things from Oobabooga, that gets installed somewhere else. So there's kind of like, this is the repository code, this is the Python Miniconda type of code, 2 different areas, and you'll see how they diverge in a minute here. So now we've got the right environment activated. Don't worry about the location right now. It's not a big deal. Just going to be writing stuff to the environment. So we just copy this text, paste it into here. Don't worry about seeing any of this stuff. That's fine. I'm doing this all in one take. I don't usually make videos, and I don't feel like editing things, so this part takes just a little bit of time. Feel free to fast forward during any of the installation steps if you so choose, but they're not too long. Okay, so that part's done. We're going to click on that, copy that, we're going to paste it into here, we're going to install this. See, there's stuff being added in here because we're in the right environment, text gen. Just agree to whatever it says here. All right, now that's done. We will install this. All right, now that's done. We'll install this. Yep. All right, now that's done. We'll install this. Now that's done. We'll install this. Okay, now that's done. We'll install this. Again, all this is going into here. Okay, now we want to change directories. That's what the CD means. We want to change directories to where we want to install Oobabooga. So I want to install it in this folder, and it's going to install into this folder because when you clone the repository, it'll make it automatically, but I've already made it, so it'll just override it. Don't worry, you'll see what I mean here. Okay, so we are now we are in this folder here, and we want to clone the repository. Okay, see, now we're in this folder, and it has all the files in it. If you didn't have this made ahead of time, it would have made it for you. Now we want to change directories again, so we are in this folder now, not this one. See, we still got this activated, which is good. Now we're going to install the requirements from a text file that are in here. So now it's going to install all this stuff for us. Okay, now it's done. So I'm just going to close this, and I'm going to go here to the models folder, and I'm going to give it a model so we can test the basic installation. This model, you can get models from multiple places. Hugging Face has a bunch of models that do various tasks. This one is a code generating model, hence code gen 6B mono. This is a 6 billion parameter code generating model. You can find links to other models on the Oobabooga GitHub page. So we're just going to make sure that everything's running. Don't worry about the output. This is a code generating model, not a chat model, but we can still run it in the chat function anyways. I'm just showing it this way because people are more familiar with the chat function user interface. Okay, so when I'm loading in models and diagnosing things, making sure things are working, I like to look at the task manager and look at the system resources. So the 6 billion parameter model is taking up a lot of the 24 gigabytes of available VRAM. This is normal. And there's a spike in the system memory utilization as well. These are good signs that the model is loaded. There's nothing peculiar here. So we will copy this hyperlink and we will open up a new web browser tab and just paste it in there. And now we have access to the user interface. And we should be able to talk to the model. Great. Don't worry about the output. Again, it's amazing the things you can get these models to output, but that's, messing with settings and stuff. We're just making sure that the system is working, and it is. We got a response, and nothing wacky happened over here. Wonderful. Now we have verification that the base installation of Oobabooga is functioning correctly. Now we're going to do the 8-bit modification, and to do that, we're going to go to this link here. And we're going to follow these instructions here. It's a little bit of a twist. So click on this link here, and it'll take you here. And you want to download both of these files. The instructions will only tell you to download one file, but you want to download both of them. All right, so I've got them downloaded. Let me just find them on my machine. Click here. Okay, so once you have them downloaded, you want to go to your correct environment, text gen, go to lib, and go to site packages, and then go to bits and bytes, and then just paste the two files in there, just like that. And then you want to go to CUDA setup, and you want to edit this main.py file. You can do it in any text editor. You don't have to have anything fancy here like Notepad++, but it's always good to have that. Okay, so now we want to edit this file, and we want to look for this string of text. All right, there it is. And we want to replace it with this string of text. Great. Now that's done. We're going to look for this string of text. All right, there's two lines. There's one there and there's one there, and we'll replace both of them with this string of text. Great. Now we just save it, and we can close this out. We don't need this anymore. All right, hold on just a second. Let me get back to our environment here. Not quite sure why that folder closed, but so I'm going to go to lib, so packages, bits and bytes. Yeah, so this is the file we just edited. Let me just make sure I edited it correctly. I'm not sure why that closed on us. Okay, yeah, everything looks okay. So yes, we've just edited this, and now let's go back here and let's test 8-bit mode to make sure 8-bit mode's working. So the same thing as before as when we tested the normal mode, but this time we want to send load in 8-bit, and what it's doing is it's opening this server.py file, which is located here. So we want to make sure we're in that correct directory. So let's open up our PowerShell prompt, and we'll just copy all this in. It's going to change the directory. It's going to go activate the right environment, and it's going to run the Python code. And here we see this banner for bits and bytes. That's good. Let's look at our task manager, and you'll see that there's a lot less video RAM being used right now. Another little spike in the CPU RAM, and it looks like everything's loaded fine. Let's open up the window. Again, just copy this URL, paste it in here, and we have access to the user interface. We will clear the history. We'll ask the AI how it's feeling. It's doing great. Looks like it tried to give me code. It's kind of interesting. I think this error is because of the text it tried to give me. Don't worry about seeing anything peculiar like that. Everything's working. We've loaded in 8-bit, and yeah, no problem there. So 8-bit is functioning correctly. Now we can continue on and get 4-bit mode working. So to do that, we will just open up another PowerShell prompt here, and we're going to do what we normally do, go to the installation of the repository and activate our environment. Now we're going to make a folder called repositories. Okay, so we just made a folder called repositories. We're going to change the directory of our PowerShell prompt to point to that directory. Great. And now we're going to clone this repository called GPTQ for LLaMA. Okay, the repository is now cloned. Now we're going to change our directory once again in our PowerShell prompt to reflect this new directory here. And now we're going to run the setup underscore CUDA.py file, and it'll install stuff for us and do things. Don't worry if you see some errors in here. This ninja thing will fix everything for us. Okay, so that has completed. Now, if you were to try to run your old LLaMA models in 4-bit mode, you will find that they do not work anymore. So your old models look like this. Bear with me and I will show you. Let's see here. Yes, here we go. This is what they should look like now in order to run with the new version of Oobabooga. So you've got to reconvert the original LLaMA files to be compatible with Oobabooga, and they'll look like this. So to do that, you need the original LLaMA model and the tokenizer checklist. And I'm just going to put them in my models folder to make things easier. Now, I'm not 100% sure. Well, we'll wait for this to finish here. Okay, so these files, you should have these with your original LLaMA file. I make a copy of these and I put them in here. I've already done that, but I'm not sure if they need to be outside the folder or inside the folder, so I just make copies and do both. It doesn't matter. All right, so now that that's done, we are going to, let's just open up a new terminal here. We're going to change directories and open up, activate our TextGen environment again. And so now we're going into GPTQ for LLaMA, which is in our repository folder here. This is where we're going. And we're going to be running this code here. So this, you've got to edit this to reflect your system. Let me see if I can. Let me stretch this out for you. So it's going to be running this Python code here, this convert llama weights right here. It's going to be running that, and the input directory is where we just put our 13B original model. So as you recall, it's right there. We're telling it it's a 13 billion parameter model, and then it's going to output it just in this same folder here in this GPT, wherever this Python file is. So we're going to copy this. This is just an example from the creator of the code, so I'm just leaving it in there. This is what you want to add in. This is all one line. It's just or excuse me, yeah. This is all one line. This is what you want. All right, let me make sure. Yes. Why do I have this in here? I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. This is all one. It's just a really long line. It's been a long day, all right, yeah. All one line. The output directory isn't going to be, that's another step. There will be something that's written in here, but it's not the original converted file. So the 13B is going to be exported to this directory and into this folder here, LLaMA 13B. So copy all this, go to our activated the right environment, and we're in the right location. Just paste this. And then again, it's probably a good idea to monitor your system resources while this is happening to make sure it's working. You'll see a lot of CPU RAM utilization. This takes a little while, but again, not too long. Again, you can fast forward through this part, but it's there we go. Look at that. Right when I said to fast forward, we have finished it. So it's dumped all the memory onto the disk. Great. This part is done. So let me just kind of put this back over here. All right. So now let's go to our models folder, and you'll see we have this folder here. Great. Take all this and put it in this folder, and then get rid of this. Okay, now it says LLaMA 13B. Great. Now we need to make the we can run this. So let's just run this in let's just run it in 8-bit mode here. We can't run it in 4-bit mode yet, and we'll get to that in a minute, but let's just make sure everything's working still. Should be able to run it in 8-bit. Here we go. 13B model in 8-bit takes up quite a bit of space, but you can get it in there. Let's open up wait a minute, it did not load it in 8-bit mode. Oh. That's way too much space. Sorry about that. This is the one we got. Say I didn't send it 8-bit, so it loaded the whole thing. Really, it has been quite an evening for me figuring all this out, so apologies if it's not the best, but here we go. So now, there we go. We got the banner. Should be a lot less memory. Yeah, look at that. Significantly less memory. Okay. So now we can open this up. Just gonna scooch this out of the way. There we go. We're gonna clear the history. And I'm gonna say, hello? There we go. Okay, we got a response. Great. Nothing broke on us. Perfect. So 8-bit's working with this newly created LLaMA 13B model. So now we've got to make the 4-bit, I don't know, accessory model to go with this in order to run this in 4-bit. And so to do that, okay, so we've done this, and then like I've already tested. Yeah, I should have referenced that. Okay. Now we're going to install some more stuff. So we're going to, go back to our original directory here. We're going to activate the environment, and then we're going to install this conda, this datasets thing. Just do that. Okay, that's finished. Just going to close that out. All right, now we're going to be running this llama py file. So show you what that looks like here. So I'll clean this up a little bit. I was testing some things out, but this is this is what we want to run. So let's go to that directory, and then let's activate the environment. Okay, great. Activated in the right directory with the llama.py file right here. Okay, so we're going to be running the llama.py file. We're telling it where the 13B model is, the model we just made. Put this stuff in there. This is important, and then this is what we're going to save it as. Just ignore all this stuff. Don't worry about it. This is what we're interested in here. So it's going to write this file to this directory. We'll just paste that all in there. See. there. And run it. Now, like I said earlier, I don't want to edit the video, but this process does take quite a long time. I thought I would start it and kind of show you how resource intensive it is. It uses up quite a bit of memory, and it'll use a lot of it'll max out your GPU. So we'll let it start, and then I'm going to stop it, and I'll show you the file I already made in advance. So this is what it's saying. So yeah, it'll start to use up the VRAM, and then it'll do this for a very long time. So just let it do this, let it finish. Like I said, it'll take a while, but it will finish. Once you get to this point, I've never seen it fail, so